Welcome to everyone, and let's take a look at LS501, Ethics and the Professional. This is an extremely important course because we see a growth and interest in ethics constantly all around us. All of the state bar associations that are mandatory bar associations have professional ethics rules for attorneys. We see physicians having medical ethics rules that have to be followed. Certified public accountants have accountancy rules that must be followed. And so in the legal profession, we need to be very careful to follow all essential rules so that a mistake is not made, which winds up being very costly. And so we will look at normative ethics and morality in this course generally, and we will also assess normative ethical and moral principles as the course moves along. One thing we have to do as well to make this course practical for you is to look at how legal principles are actually applied in real world situations. It would be fairly obvious to understand that all the state bar associations would agree that attorney ads cannot be misleading, but they have different ways to regulate attorney advertising. I'm licensed to practice law in 2 U.S. jurisdictions. In one of those, the phrase, "I can help you," is permitted to be in an attorney ad. In the other jurisdiction, it is not. Now, the basic rule is the same. We do not want attorney ads to be misleading. They would be unethical and improper if they were. But jurisdictions may differ about what misleading means. And I'll give you an example here from what I just mentioned. In a state that permits the phrase, "I can help you," in an attorney ad, many times that will be a fairly rural state that will have a lot of general practice attorneys in it. But in a jurisdiction that doesn't permit something like the phrase, "I can help you," in an attorney ad, often you find more legal specialists in an area like that one. That will often be a metropolitan area or an area that has a large number of people who are in the bar association, and they will practice very specific types of law and perhaps no other types of law in a particular firm. So you have some large firms in some of these places that only practice government contracts law. Others only practice family law. Others only practice tax law or some legal specialty. So those jurisdictions often feel that allowing attorneys to put a phrase in an ad like "I can help you" would mislead the public, because someone might walk in off the street to a law firm and say, "I need a divorce." And they'll have a response then from those who are there, "We can't help you because we don't do divorces here. All we do is federal tax work, or all we do is government contracts." And so some jurisdictions with more specialist attorneys who are members of the bar may not permit an attorney to use a phrase like that in an attorney ad. And so there are all sorts of implications with the ethics rules, and we'll look at a large number of these to give you a good sampling, but we'll also look into the background as to why many of these decisions have been made. Also, we'll take a look at solutions to business and social issues around us that are based on ethical and moral constructs. For example, some people have had the attitude with the business, well, that is owned by the shareholders, and we shouldn't do any corporate charity or give away money because that's like taking money from the shareholders. Now, that's not the prevalent view today we see in society, because corporate charity is all around us in large measure. But there have been times when that was the prevailing attitude. Now we understand that if we are good corporate citizens and we put money back into our local communities, that tends to benefit firm image. It also tends to benefit the organization as a whole over time. So we'll take a look at these things as well. Is it unethical to give money to charity? Well, I think you can see from this study, it will be very interesting to examine those things. We also emphasize strongly ethical leadership, because no organization can rise higher than its leadership. So if there's not a tone that sets an ethical tone of value at the top of an organization, often those lower down in the organization do not follow ethical principles in the way that they should. And so it's important for leaders, especially, to focus on morals, to focus on ethics, so that there are not unethical types of misconduct going on, which can actually ruin an organization. This is an incredibly important area, because even if other things are done technically right as to legal documents and all this, if bad ethics are behind the situation, the organization is already in trouble.